So I've played just about 7 hours of Final Fantasy 16. I want to give an early impressions video, not a review, because I have seen some stuff of things can change, and some people say the story drops off, some people say it doesn't drop off, it gets better, so I don't really know. I'll have a full review on the channel once I actually complete the game, do most of the side stuff as well, but for right now, 7 hours in, and honestly, I absolutely love it. It's everything I had hoped that it would be: cinematic, big, it's got stakes, it's got emotion, it's got characters, the combat is absolutely phenomenal. It really ticks all of the major boxes that I had. And again, looking at what some people are complaining about, which is fine, everybody is entitled to their own opinion, either I haven't gotten to certain things yet, or I just don't care all that much, and we will talk about that in this video. But let's start with kind of just going through those 7 hours. So the first 2 hours are the demo. Now, I already played that. I had made a video about a week and a half ago talking about it. Not only do I think it's one of, if not the best demos of all time, but in terms of, you think about it, opening your game. It's the first 2 hours. It's the intro to Final Fantasy 16. It is incredible. It's one of the best openings of any game I've ever played, to be honest with you. Again, it's got the stakes. It's got this Game of Thrones vibe. It's got likable characters. It's got characters that certain things happen to them. It's got everything that, at least again, I would possibly imagine it could have. It gets you introduced to the combat, throws a couple different enemies, gives you the gigantic fight, at the end of that 2 hours, right before it says Final Fantasy 16. I absolutely adored it. And, you got to count that as part of the game, even though I played it, separate from the base game. You got to count it because it is the beginning of the game. Then you get to the other 5 hours that I've played so far. And now I will say this, obviously it slows down. It slows down, but it's got its huge, peaks, right? And what I like about it, and what I am not too concerned about going forward, right? Because again, I've seen stuff of certain things drop off, or side quests being fetch quests and all this stuff. When the game is slower, I'm still really enjoying it. You go to a new area, you hear a new soundtrack, it sounds really cool. The areas are diverse, right? They're different from each other. The enemies are all kind of different. Now, yeah, you'll face some of the same enemies more than once, but they'll mix and match, and they'll try to keep things fresh by throwing new things at you. So even when it's a little bit more dead, even when, they're still trying to explain the story, they're still trying to explain, well, actually, they're trying to set up, okay, well, what is Clive doing? What's the purpose of him, as an adult? Where is this going? What's the, where's the journey at right now? And I guess where's it going to be going over the next couple days in their lives? Even when it does that, I was thoroughly enjoying it, whether it was some of the new characters. Cid, all right, not only being Nathan Drake, because he literally looks like the face model, of Nathan Drake, he is an awesome character. There's a lot of good side characters in this game. The first 2 hours gives you their dad, and gives you Joshua, and gives you Jill and stuff, and then a lot of those kind of get replaced by other characters, as the game goes on, at least so far. Cid seems to be a constant, at least right now, and I really like the guy. Even like Benedicta, I really like her. I don't want to get into spoiler stuff, but I'm pleased with how certain things have gone, because I really like that character. I think she's really cool. I think her powers are really cool. But everything has a little bit of intrigue still. They're still pushing that, and I'm invested in it. I'm invested in the new characters. I'm invested in the old characters, which there's not many of them. There's basically just Clive and Torgal, right? So that's all good. Then you have, I would say, the combat, and I love it. I forgot how to play. So when I first started the base game, you wake up and you have to fight, I think, relatively early. You start to fight the mercenary group, and I can tell you immediately, I was like, oh my god, which one is dodge? Is R1 dodge? Is circle dodge? And I actually kind of want them to almost be reversed. I think circle should be the dodge and R1 should maybe be the dash, but that could be heresy to a lot of people, so I'll keep that opinion largely to myself. No, it took me a little while to get back into it, but the more powerful you get, and I'm obviously not there yet. I haven't really even upgraded my core abilities. I've really done the bigger ability circle just to kind of get more moves, right? Just being able to lunge, or to downward strike, or to kind of charge up your sword to hit harder, right? That's what I'm trying to do, just to kind of get more moves in my repertoire, just so I can do more stuff. It seems like it keeps going, and I really like that, because I think the combat is quite good. And once you get a hang of it, you understand, okay, dodge just at the specific time. I'm not very good at parrying, but sometimes I get it. Chaining together moves, I'm understanding it, and I understood it more as the game went on. I'm loving it. I'm loving the combat, and I guess the biggest thing, and now this comes, I guess, from a person, and I've said it many times, like for Final Fantasy, I played 7 Remake, I played a little bit of 15, I watched the Lightning Trilogy, my sister played it. I am relatively new. I'm not going to pretend like, I've been with the series since the beginning and I've played 16 games in the series, right? For me, I like how this thing is broken up. It feels contained, but I kind of like almost the hand holding that it does. Now, I think some people are not going to like that. Honestly, I think so. But, when you got these different regions right on your map and you fast travel, and it's open world-ish. I mean, I wouldn't even necessarily call it that, right? Though it's a small little map. You can go where you want, but obviously you have your marker where you're supposed to go, and you have to jump from location to location through fast travel. I like that. I honestly really, really like that. I don't mind that at all. Again, is it a little hand-holding? I think it's kind of constricted. It does feel in that way, honestly, to me, like more of a PS3 360 era game. It reminds me of Evil West. Remember when that game came out last year and people were saying, yeah, this has a 2-gen ago kind of feel to how the levels are designed. I actually don't mind that. I think it's kind of a breath of fresh air. Yeah, are we going backwards? I suppose, but I never really hated it. And nowadays, every game is just let's make a world that's 50,000 miles in every direction. You don't need every game to be like that. And what's the reverse of that? Well, sometimes it's a little hand-holding. Sometimes it's a little linear. I really don't mind it. For every Final Fantasy, there'll be a Starfield. So I don't think it's too big a deal. Again, specifically for me, it is not a big deal. I'm not mad at it. One thing I've seen is side quests being atrocious and mainly just fetch quests, right? Now, I've done, I think, 4 or 5 side quests so far. You can definitely see that, absolutely. And I've seen that it gets much worse, as the game opens up. You get a lot more side quests. They're still like that. So I understand that. I understand if that's an issue. And again, that's why this is not, a full-on review. I haven't upgraded Clive all the way. I haven't beat the story. Maybe the story falls off because I'm loving it. I'm loving the characters. I'm loving the plot. I'm loving where it's going. I'm loving the intrigue of the dominant of fire and all this stuff. I really like it. Now, if that falls off a cliff, all right, well then obviously that would hurt the game because the game, I would say, is very much centered on its characters, its story, and the gameplay. Those 3 kind of pillars. So if any one of those, which I can't imagine the gameplay falls off, but if the other 2 fall off, obviously that would hurt the game. But one final thing I want to throw in there, the scale of this game, although, linear-ish in its levels, but holy God, when this game wants to go for it in terms of the big cinematic cutscenes, look, bigger isn't always better, and flashier things aren't always better, okay? That is true. But this game absolutely nails it. Whether it's this big army clashing fight, it's unreal. It's unreal how cinematic it looks. And I just stare at it. I'll tell my wife, she'll be on her phone, I'll say, oh my God, look at this scene. They're transforming into a knight on a horse. Look at this. It just looks so freaking cool to me. And, you had a big boss fight that I'll probably show a little clips of as we're talking here towards the end of that 7 hours against Garuda, I believe her name was. And holy dear Jesus. Actually, let me throw this in here. This was, one of those kind of Titan fights, right? The first time you do it in the demo, there was a lot of frame rate issues on my system, okay? That happened to me. This time, nothing. Absolutely nothing. I don't know if there was even, I don't remember downloading a day 1 patch. I think they said there was going to be a day 1 patch, but that is something I want to throw out there because for performance-wise, nothing. I did that gigantic fight, and it was smooth as honestly can be, and you're dealing with a lot of explosions, a lot of movements, 2 ginormous, beasts or titans that are going after each other, that are throwing each other, just a lot of stuff going on screen, and absolutely nothing happened to me. So not only was the performance good, but then I just got to marvel in how good it looked or how cinematic that boss fight was. So hey, if they sprinkle that in every couple hours in this game, I don't see how I'm going to not like it, by the end of it. I absolutely adore this game. I really, really do. I can't wait to play more of it, so I'm doing all the videos right now, and then once I'm done, I'm going to play this game all day and all night, okay? So let me know what you think. Make sure you're subscribed, bell icon turned on. I will be doing a review once I beat it. I don't want to say I was going to say over the next couple days. I don't want to rush it, but I do expect to get a fair amount in, by Sunday night. So hopefully mid next week, I could probably do a review of the game. So look forward to that, and I'll see you there.